Ready.
Machiwa me pi chi yong na yong ji zen la mo zhuo ma ju di san qian gen la di dar ma dan ju pa gan li jia de so让七个音本马一本三牛梦浪的之外马口弯前辈三千了用他们着急下的手亲娘你接了马吉本他年此个真他年别离完了永远的歌他灭下的手都不高啊让个身同你共本么些本下哇你别用三让兄你们一起了你是真被我瞧见觉得是将军把难可你们见了灭家的手养到个东拉你西江见真知天真么一比其实东拉梦巴拉勇敢前进拉灭家的手真正难看见看见的大眼美气他东路面刚子啦用中上季节家的手
Thank you. That was beautiful.
Thank you. Okay, you're welcome, Kamala.
No,
better.
You're still distant, Cass. Oh, is it better from that end?
I think so.
No, it's still distant.
Yeah.
Sorry to be a truth teller.
Yeah, I can't hear him. But I'm traveling, so I just want to make sure. No.
Okay, I'm going to connect with the earbuds, so then you can hear. So now can you hear?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, I know. No, it's a fake.
Yes, that's it.
Welcome back, Temple.
That's it,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Okay. I know what fake. So many we have stops here. And one problem, another we have a choice. Another problem, we have another choice. Okay.
Well, you chose well. You chose well. It's working. Nice choice.
Okay. So now we're going to do the opening prayer. Oh, Mother Sentient Beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstacles who harm me, and those who create obstacles to my path to liberation and damnation. May they experience happiness, be separate from suffering, and safely away, establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious Buddhahood. Oh, Mother Sentient Beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstacles who harm me, and those who create obstacles to my path to liberation and damnation. May they experience happiness, be separate from suffering, and safely away, establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious Buddhahood. Dalai Damwara Sebe Dai No Bara Sebe Ge Tarba Dan Dam Jen Jembe Barada Ju Bara Seba Dam Je Je Zora Sebe Manam Ka Dan Nyambe Zen Jen Dan Dewa Dan Den Dongara Dan Daran Yorda Lana Meba Yang Dabar Zobe Zanjo Rumbo Je Dobar Zan the Sancho I achieve enlightenment. I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and the mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and the mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and the mind. We take refuge in the Kanru Lama and the lineage Lamas. We take refuge in the deity of the mandalas of Yadams. We take refuge in the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excelling order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dagas, Dakinis, and the Dhamma gardens, possessors of the eye of wisdom. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment. I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma, and likewise in the example of the Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas invested enlightened mind and the progress on the Bodhisattva's path are true for the benefit of all sentient beings giving birth to the Bodhicitta, and applying myself to complete this stage of the path. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge under enlightenment reach by the merit of Jnana and other good deeds. May I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. May all Mother Sentient Beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separate from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity that is free from attachment and aversion. So now we go to short mandala offering, page 10a. The ground is sprinkling with the scented water and stirred with the flowers. It is adorned with the meadow, the spring mountain, the four continents, and the sun and the moon. As Buddha fell out for it, may all sentient beings attain the happiness of Buddha filled. To the lamas who possess the three kayas, I offer to altar inner and sacred offerings. With my body worth that ended or that is visible, please grant me the supreme realization and enlightenment. Whatever merit I have gathered through postrations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of enlightening of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. Om Guru Rena Mandala Bunza Munga Samandra Savaran Samaye I equal refuge, ornament of the world. Your fame provides the treasures and world. You are the victor Vajadara with wardrobe. I bow at the feet of Father and Jade Songo. Continue laughing over no one but you. Compassion and one grant your blessing. Dispel the darkness that surrounds my heart. Please bless me so that I can realize the liberal nature of mind. So now we go to the Manjushri 33, 32, long press to Manjushri, page 32. His wisdom is brilliant like the sun, free of the clouds of the true ways, and perceives the various steps of knowledge in the true nature. For the reason he holds the wisdom takes at his heart, he has compassion for all beings who suffer from the darkness of ignorance in the prison of samsara as feather for only son. Like a thunderclap, he wakens those who are sleeping in ignorance and loosens the chain of karma through the 60 branch of Haramania's speech. He wields the wisdom sword to cut the settling of suffering and to dispel the darkness of confusion. In the Bodhisattva form, he is pure from beginningless time, fully accomplished in the 10 levels, and perfect in the body of all knowledge. I supplicate you, Manjushri, adorned by the 112 sons of Buddha, to dispel the darkness of my ignorance. Om Arabazanade, Om Arabazanade, Om Arabazanade, Om Arabazanade, Om Arabazanade, Om Wangeshoremo, Om Wangeshoremo, Om Wangeshoremo, Om Wangeshoremo. Short press to Manjushri. You who are the perfect, your youthful body, those flame of wisdom blazes, and dispel the darkness of worldly ignorance, are posted before you and praise you, Manjushri. At the heart chara is a Sunday on which stands the moon syllable, surrounded by matter circle clockwise. Okay, so we don't have to chant that part. Thank you, everyone. So, good morning. Everyone ready to listen and teaching?
Yes.
Okay. So now I'm going to share the stage of meditation. I think Saturday we are stage of meditation, right? Okay. So stage of meditation, we talked this introduction section, and then right now we are in the main body of the text. Main body in the text, how to meditate on the 4 thoughts. So we talked that turned the mind. Then how to meditate on love, we talked that. How to meditate on compassion, we talked already that. How to meditate on bodhicitta, so we talked already that. How to meditate on shamatha, we already talked that too. How to meditate on vipassana, we finished that. So today we are in the chapter 7, how to meditate on the development stage of skillful means. So this chapter 7, meditate on development stage of skillful means. So this part is different the other sections, and also lots of different kind of method using. So that's why it's called skillful method development stage, skillful method. We use many methods when we practice Dharma. So when we practice this section, the Vajrayana, we have to follow by 3 important. So I already talked to ground, path, result. So you have to know that 3 sections. That 3 is a very important part. In the ground, we are Buddha. On the path, so we purify, and the result is recognize, discovering. So what we have on the ground, and the ground result is become reunited again. So it's same. Ground result is no separate. The path makes become recognizing, same. Ground result is same. So right now, we in the ground, actually we don't recognize, we have a Buddha nature, we don't recognize all thinking beings Buddha. So we always think we are ordinary being. So then we think when we are become Buddha means we find something new. So actually that thought, perception, temporarily okay, but that is like just, really reality incorrect to understand. So that's a beginner people thought, people who don't know much Dharma, people who don't know every sentient being has a Buddha nature, then beginners think that way. So the thing is okay temporarily, but reality, our right now in the we are grown, we already Buddha there, we are Buddha. So path is helping the reuniting result and the ground. So when we get in the result enlightenment, we don't find anything new, but we discovering what we have. If you know that ground, path, result, then you understanding Dharma, no problem. So this generation stage is like you have ideas, what means generation stage. So now we are in the ground, so we have to use the path to recognize reality, absolute truth. So in the path has so many different kind of method, different individual levels capacity. So this Vajrayana is like highest level capacity, means like they know different kind of method using. That's why they have more capacity. So Vajrayana teaching is higher levels capacity, practitioners have to use. Who don't know how to use this method and who don't have a capacity to use this method, Vajrayana teachings, then not ready. So that person have to practice like Hinayana and Mahayana first, then go into the Vajrayana teaching, study practice. So this most is important. You have to recognize just impure is transforming, directly transform to the pure, create a pure perception. So that's Vajrayana method. Vajrayana, the teaching that talk about, if we thinking about impure, we always think ordinary person, we have this impure perceptions. Whatever we do, practice, but still we are stuck in samsara because we have unmundane perceptions. So Vajrayana teaching says we have to purify unmundane perceptions. We have to purify that and clear up, change the perceptions, transform the perceptions, impure perception, transform to the pure perceptions. Then which is one we have to impure is transformed to the pure perception. Our body speech, and the mind. So that three is the main point. And the body, we visualize the Yadam deity. This ordinary body is transformed to the Buddha's body. And then speech is whatever song is we transform to the mantra. Impure song is transformed to the Vajra song, means Buddha's song, enlightening song. That's why we chant the mantras. And then this impure thoughts, perception is transformed into the Dharmakaya nature. So that means like body, speech, mind, impure, all is transformed to the pure. So, Lance, please, can you sit down? Sit down, it's okay. Don't do this right now. So all is transformed to the pure. That's the practice is Vajrayana. So impure or is we have to transform the pure. Okay, so now that's the reason we have so many different methods we have to use. We have to use so many different kind of methods. So that's the reason in the meditation Vajrayana section, like we in the visualization, we have this three aspects. So we have to visualize clearly, vividly Buddhas. That's the first aspect, visualization, important part. The second one is someone has a background noise. Okay. So second is we have to create confident divine pride, stable divine pride. So third is we already talked to them. We have to know the recognize this all the recollection of purity. So these three aspects are very important. I have to understand clearly. And then that three is in the main practice Vajrayana, this section. So long as you have these three practice, then when we go into the mantra garland, mantra section. So I think we are there right now in the mantra. Yes. So which page we are the measure?
The middle of page 118.
Okay. Page 118. Okay, so now last way we already talked. So this mantra followed by Nyingpa and Drupa, Drupchin, Nyingpa, Nyenhing, I think Nyingpa and Nyenhing, Drupa, Drupchin. So we have 4 different levels when we practice mantra. So long as we don't have enough this visualization stable clearly, then we have to the practice or meditate this Nyingpa part. Nyingpa first one is easy. So then your practice is become more strong, and practice has become constantly used to, and then you go into the Nyingpa Nyenhing, then go up to Drupa, and then go up to Drupchin. So that's the way we have to follow. So now we are in the 118 at the dissolution stage of practice. So we are in the dissolution stage, right? Correct? Okay, so Marilyn, do you have live or no? No, I didn't see. Sorry about that.
No, it's live on Facebook and I'm recording it, both.
Oh, I see. Okay. Some reason my computer didn't show up. So no show up, I did something, my mistake. Okay, so now we are going into the dissolution stage of the practice. Generation, like beginning, we visualize one step by step, visualize environment, Buddha's pure lane, the house where we live, this all is visualized Buddha's palace. In the center of the palace, visualize throne, and then top of the throne, we visualize the like flower, lotus flower, top this, moon this, sun this, and then syllable, so that's transformed to the Buddha's body. And so syllables are representing our consciousness. Then we visualize ourselves as Buddha. So that's all is purifying birth karma imprint karma. So we have a strong karmic imprint take to the reborn to samsara again and again. So that visualize meditation practice remove the birth karmic imprint. And then also when we already born in the samsara, we do so much things, create, causes of samsara. That's all removed that section. So whole this generation stage, remove the impure karmic imprint, transform to the pure perception, create a positive.
I can't hear him.
It's very strange. I don't know. It's showing people up too. I don't know what's going on. Kempo, you're muted or something. We can't hear you.
I think he dropped, Maryland. I don't see him either.
Yeah, he must
Far
have.
away. Mhm.
This could be a bad connection, and he lost connection, because that happens to me often if I'm not in a space that's a good space where I have an unstable connection. What Facebook would he be on? Would it be garchincanada.ca?
Yeah, he's, I think it's called Garchin Meditation, our Facebook page anyways.
Garchincanada dot whatever.
No, it's not, it's,
Do you see him there?
I don't think he's on, because I'm streaming it, so it's the Zoom that's on Facebook.
Yeah. I'm just going to go onto my iPhone, onto Facebook. Let's see if I can find him.
There he is.
So okay, sorry about
You're
this.
back.
Some reasons, it's all gone.
Mhm.
Where did you go, Kambola?
My computer is something reason is like gone, disappeared, everything.
Is your battery low?
No, I don't think so. I don't know. So I fixed it. I already applied the charging, so it could be cannot be low the battery. Okay, so now we're going to come back. Coming back. So I reborn again.
Yes, dissolution.
I was
Yeah,
just
wait.
going to say that you had the completion stage already, Kempo. You beat us to it.
Okay, so I already come back again, reborn again. And I went to dissolution. That's I show you the how to dissolution means just gone. So sometimes we don't recognize what means dissolution. Just dissolution means disappeared. That means like, see, no exist, right? Just gone. You don't know where it's gone. No place to go. No place to come from. No any place exists. It's just disappeared. So that's the dissolution. And then come back again, just appear to again. You don't know where it come from. No any source. And just appear to there. That is the you know, birth again. Take birth means like no reality birth, just be there. Some condition comes. So no, so I already shared with you that part. So all that section is like purifying birth karmic imprints. And when we are in the samsara, you know, we create so much samsara habituate karmic imprint. We purify that. So now this dissolution is specifically antidote to when we die, you know, this death karmic imprint, purify called death karmic imprint. At the dissolution stage of the practice, if you are drawing in accomplishment practice, Tibetan, Drupa, so when we complete this practice, you know, we talk about the Tibetan Drupa, and you have a visualization in front. So draw in the visualization to stabilize its wisdom presence in a support or representation if you have one. So this dissolution stage is like followed by different. They have so many different kinds of dissolutions. So that's the reason, you know, sometimes you get also confused. They're using many different method dissolutions. So if we have, see, like when we practice Drupa and you have visualization in front, if you visualize in front of Buddha, Yidam deities, then we have to do follow by like this way. Draw in visualization to stabilize its wisdom presence, its support or representation if you have one. So visualize Buddha, it's called wisdom Buddha, where you're going to dissolve. We have to dissolve to the statue and the tanka. So that means like if you know, visualization in front, draw in the visualization to stabilize its wisdom presence in a support. Support is like if you have a tanka, if you have a statue. So or representation, if you have one, so you have to dissolve to that. And think about when we this morning we practice Buddha Shakyamuni. So we visualize Buddha in front clearly. Visualize. Then that time also, you can also visualize yourself as Buddha too. So nothing wrong. You know, you visualize Buddha in front. Then that time you can visualize yourself as Buddha. So some people just visualize the Buddha in front. Then their thing is, I'm just ordinary. Visualize the Buddha in front. Supplication, pray to the Buddha. So that's we already talked auto level practice. And then that Buddha is like dissolved to the statue or tanka. So that's also possible. Visualizing is dissolved to there. And then inner like level practice, secret level practice. You visualize the Buddha in front of you, but same time, you visualize yourself as Buddha too. Self-generation and stable divine pride. So you visualize yourself Buddha, and then the front Buddha visualize is dissolved to in the statue. You know, So you can use that statue and Tanga. And then also you can think that Buddha is dissolved to yourself too. So that's either way is correct. You know, you can dissolve front visualization yourself, or that visualization Buddha is dissolved to the statue or Tanga, your support, you know, support or representation if you have one. If you do not have a visualization in front, simply invite the wisdom deity to dissolve into the things of Dharma, that the basic space of phenomena. So then, if you don't have the physical support, Tanga in the statue, so visualize the Yidam deity is you meditate and dissolve into the space. Dharma, that nature, you know. So that's either is correct, which is like easy for you, especially if you have a Tanga statue, then you can use that Buddha is dissolved to that. If you don't have anything like that, physical support, then when you visualize that Buddha is dissolved to in the space. So that's the reason if you do not have a visualization in front, simply invite wisdom deity to dissolve into the expanse of Dharma, that the basic space of phenomena. So then all the samaya being dissolved into the self-visualization means all the samaya beings, you know, Buddha's retinues, or whatever you visualize other things, also meditate, or it's dissolved to yourself. So the dissolve to yourself into yourself visualization means like yourself also visualize the Buddha. So that's also dissolved to yourself. So now think about this couple three things there, you know, actually there's three different ways dissolving. First one is visualize the Buddha is dissolved to your statue and the Tanga, if you have. The second is Buddha is just disappear in the space, nature, and the Dharma, that phenomena. The third is all this visualize, whatever, everything is dissolving to yourself. So yourself is Buddha. You visualize yourself is Buddha. Then that section is just very short information, but usually when we visualize Buddha in front space, then you can visualize many retinues, Buddhas. This all retinues dissolve to the mean Buddha, in the visualize the mean Buddha, wisdom Buddha. So then that Buddha is dissolved to yourself, or dissolved to statue, or disappear in the space. And after that, all this phenomena means like whatever this form object, everything dissolved to ourself Buddha. So visualize yourself as Buddha. You can meditate, all this phenomena object is dissolved to yourself. That time you are Buddha, you know, we visualize ourselves as Buddha. You cannot dissolve to the ordinary body. If you don't visualize yourself as Buddha, then you cannot dissolve this all phenomena as yourself. So must you visualize all this, you visualize ourselves as Buddha, then all this phenomena is dissolved to us. Then ourselves is become dissolving, you know, our body is dissolved. Our body is dissolved to the syllable. So which syllable is depending which yidam that you visualize. If you visualize yourself as a Tara, then your body is become transformed into the thumb syllable. Thumb syllable. So then thumb syllable, the bottom of the thumb syllable and dissolving to up and up and up is like top there called nada. It's a small kind of like, you know, dash something in the letter has. So in the, go into that and then disappear into the space. So then you have to meditate, no draw, no dualistic, you know, they call Dhammadata nature or Dhammakaya nature or Mahamudra, or you can meditate called completion stage. Many different names, but main point is always same. So that's called the completion stage. So then we have to meditate completion stage. Completion stage is the main point is just Mahamudra. If you know, okay, if you do not have a visualization in front, simply invite the wisdom deity to dissolve into the expanse of the Dhammadata, the basic space of phenomena, or the Samaya beings dissolve into self-visualization, or the Samaya beings dissolve into the self-visualization. If you are only doing a self-visualization, since one's own inner wisdom knowing never departs anywhere, visualize according to the dissolution stage of the practice text and dissolve the entire universe and all within back into light. So in this part is different ways. Example, you know, if you are only doing a self-visualization, means like we doing our self-Buddha, meditate. Not really visualize anything in front. Our self is visualizing Buddha. So that time, since one's own inner wisdom knowing never depart anyway. So that our natural minds never depart from our, you know, where we are, like our nature. So that means like the Buddha is never departure. Because Buddha is your natural mind. You cannot do the departure, and the departure means like dissolving some despair in the space, or like despair to go back to their own pure line. So this, this, you know, like self-generation, if yourself is meditating Buddha, then you don't have to do Buddha is dissolved to go back to their own pure line. If you visualize Buddha in front of you, so then when you dissolution means Buddha is go back to their own original nature, or they go back to their own pure line, or dissolve to the statue, the tangas. So then you visualize the Buddha in front of you, yourself is Buddha. So then visualize the Buddha also, you can dissolve to yourself too. But you do only yourself meditate Buddha. You don't have any visualized front of Buddha, anything. So you into the your self visualization, and you have a divine pride, stable meditation, divine pride. Then that time, you don't have to do the dissolution, departure or something. You know, Buddha don't have to go away because you are Buddha. So that's the reason here is the if you are only doing a self-visualization, since one's own inner wisdom, knowing never depart anywhere, no any place go, visualize according to the dissolution stage of the practice, takes it and dissolve the entire universe and all within back into the light. So That time, so what you have to do is, so visualize according to the dissolution stage of the practice, the text, like we have to follow by this part is like sadhana, different yadam deities practice sadhana. So always slightly different visualizations, but always mean essence is the same, no difference. So you think about it, you are into the house, the door is always not same. When you get the house has a different kind of doors. Some has that 2 doors, some has 3 doors, like one, then in another, then go in another one. So you have to go, go out. It's also you have to use different ways to go out. The house has different kind. You go in. Door is not always same. But house is always the same. Doesn't matter. Door is always the same. But doors, the directions, how to put the doors. Like when you get in the house, it's not same. It's different. So like that, we have a different kind of yadam deity practice sadhanas. But that makes no difference. If the door is like east, so you always think door is east. You always come into the house in the east part. But one day you see another house, door is in the north. But that's still that is a house. Even the door is in the north or west, doesn't matter. That is still the house. So doesn't matter which direction has a door. But then doesn't matter which kind of door they have, which kind of lock they put. But still it's a house. You can come into the house, right? Same like that, all different kind of sadhanas, different kind of practice. So there's slightly always different dissolutions, visualization sections. But me essence is always the same. Because this, whatever the door is like, is 4 directions, it doesn't matter that is always a house, So like that, you have to understand it. Otherwise, like you get always confused. Different sadhana has different dissolutions comes. That's the reason. So stage of the practice text and dissolve the. So followed by different kind of text, and then main point here, what here give you information is, you visualize yourself as Buddha, 7th generation. Then this all universal dissolve in the entire universal and all within back into light. This all universal is actually so become dissolved into the light. So this all universal is like become dissolved to the light. That light is dissolved to the palace. That is palace. So that is palace. See, the back into the light. This dissolve into the immeasurable deity palace. So what we have to do, like our service visualize Buddha. Then you are into the palace. You are in the palace because your house is the palace. Think about that. So you visualize yourself as Buddha. Your house is a palace, and then all these phenomena, trees, mountains, whatever is rocks, all these object phenomena, it's become dissolved to the light. The light all is dissolved to the palace, where you live, that house. The house is, you cannot just think about ordinary house, okay? Then you cannot be visualize yourself as a Buddha. Your house is palace. Yadam deity is palace, purely palace. So then visualize that everything is dissolved to your palace. The immeasurable deity palace gradually dissolve into the outside and is up absorbed into the deities in the retinue. So then that, slowly the outer level is dissolving to the go into the inner, and become this palace also dissolve to the retinue. So like when you are in the visualize yourself as a Buddha, and maybe you have many retinues, So like example, you serve as Buddha Amitabha, then you have like Chinreze, Vajrapane, and many Bodhisattvas in there. So not only Buddha is in there, himself. So many retinues there. So there's all the outer level. This deity's palace is dissolving into the retinues. So then the immeasurable deity place gradually dissolve into the outside, and it is absorbed into the deities in the retinue. So the retinue deity also dissolved and are absorbed into the central deities in non-door union. So become this all the retinues we visualize the Bodhisattvas is dissolved to the main Buddha. So example, we visualize ourselves as Buddha Amitabha or Tara, whatever you visualize yourself. So everything is dissolved to the yourself visualized Buddha. The retinue deity also dissolve and are absorbed into the central deities in non-door union. The female deity dissolve into the male deity. The male deity dissolve and is absorbed into the wisdom deity. Sanskrit called Jnana Sattva at this heart. So this also has a little bit different, slightly, all the dissolve to yourself means sometimes you visualize, they have a Yab and a Yom. Sometimes like single Buddha. So it's also according to the followed by the sadhanas, which kind of yidam deity you practice. So actually high level tantra has always Yab and Yom. And just generally tantra, Vajrayana, yidam deity practice is like sometimes only, female Buddha or sometimes the main Buddha only, single ones. So higher level it becomes, Yab and the Yom, they're always together. So doesn't matter which one you practice. You have to all follow by the, that sadhana, that practice, what that says. You have to use follow that. This gives you just generally information, this meditation practice. So if you don't have any Yom and or other Yom is the female Buddha deity, and only you have the male deity, like example, you visualize yourself as Buddha Amitabha, then retinues all is dissolved to yourself. So then yourself is become transformed into the syllable visualize, visualize the syllable, first syllable, red color first syllable. So if you visualize the Buddha has a female Buddha and a male Buddha, so then female Buddha is dissolved to the male Buddha. The female deity dissolve into the male deity. The male deity dissolve and is absorbed into the wisdom deity, Jnana Sattva, at the heart. So this Jnana Sattva is actually visualized, symbolized is wisdom. So what we have to think is you visualize, then this me Buddha is dissolved into the heart, means like jnana sattva is become disappear into the dharma dharma. Because this is wisdom, wisdom. Or you can use like syllable. Deity, the me deity is dissolved. Jnana sattva means like syllable at the heart. The wisdom deity then gradually dissolve into the mantra mala. So then this wisdom deity the gradually dissolve into the mantra mala. So right now here this one is a little bit different, where it's like slightly different. So what we have to think here, this me deity is dissolved to and absorb into the wisdom deity. Means sometimes we visualize like ourselves is Buddha, but then also wisdom Buddha is a very small, tiny and heart center wisdom Buddha. So you chant, I think this one in the Vajrakalaya sadhana has very small, tiny, like some size is like kind of like rice. Like the rice or beans, like that kind of size. In the visualize in the heart center. So that is called wisdom Buddha. Yourself is visualize Buddha yourself, but sometimes they visualize another wisdom Buddha is in the heart center, very small, tiny again there. So that's not many Yadam deity sadhana has. Some Yadam deity sadhana has like that. So example, Vajrakalaya practice. Then sometimes like we visualize the Vajrasava, very small, tiny Vajrasava in the heart. So that is representative like this jnana sattva is wisdom deity. So like that, or also when you practice like Tara, then visualize the Buddha Amitabha, very small, tiny, size of the rice, and in your heart. So wisdom means like this Tara, Chenrezig, Pema Sambhava, they are emanation of the Buddha Amitabha. So that's the reason this jnana sattva must be Buddha Amitabha, like kind of when you visualize the Tara, Chenrezig, and it's Pema Sambhava. So you can use like meditate Buddha Amitabha, jnana sattva. But this not always has like Yadam deity practice. Mostly didn't have this one. Some has. Okay. So if you don't have that, then yourself is dissolved to the mantra. You don't have to go to in this one jnana sattva meditation. So that is like kind of a little bit extra there. Extra. Do you understand? I think you didn't see that before, right? Okay, so usually our practice, we didn't have this jnana sattva because the Yadam deity sadhana is short, not too long. So we didn't have that part, but sometimes have that sections in the when you mantra garland, visualize the generation stage. Also, you yourself is visualize the Buddha, and then heart center. The very small, tiny visualize. Sometimes they say visualize different kind of Buddhas. So that Buddha is actually jnana sattva, wisdom Buddha. The wisdom deity then gradually dissolve into the mantra mala. So the wisdom deity then gradually dissolve into the mantra mala, which dissolve into the central seed syllable or samadhi sattva. So then our self is dissolved to the mantra. So mantra, we already talked with the mantra recitation and the mantra darling, you know. Example, Om Mani Padme Hum, Shi. Shi is in the center. Om Mani Padme Hum is like clockwise rotating. Okay, so if you visualize the Shi in there, that is representative actually Taba. So, or you can do Om Mani Padme Hum only, then you visualize the Hum syllable center there. That's also okay. That's also correct. But if you visualize the first syllable inside there is like, then that means like Buddha Amitabha with Chinreza mantra. So Om Mani Padme Hum clockwise, and the center there you visualize the mantra. So we ourselves as Buddha is dissolved to become mantra. We are no longer exist to form body, anything visualize the Buddhas, but we have become mantra. So then that mantra also like this auto level clockwise mantra can be dissolved to the center one, you know, center syllable. So that's why here is the which dissolve into the center C syllable. See, the auto syllable is dissolved to the center syllable or samadhi satawa. Place your awareness there on the C syllable. So then we have to meditate like only this auto level mantra is dissolved to the center syllable. So your meditate mind become resting with that syllable. Stay a little bit longer, meditate. After that, then it is to dissolve gradually. Samadhi, so syllable added to dissolve gradually from the bottom up until the very tip of the last 10 strand of the nada. Then this to dissolve into open space, emptiness without any construct. Rest naturally in this nature for as long as you are able. This is the completion stage. Okay, so now you visualize that become syllable, so the center syllable. The syllable is bottom to dissolving to the top. It's called top. Is the last part. Is called nada. It's the footnote is there. Nada are the stable energy pathways, channels in the body that are manipulated in some tantric practices. So that is like nada is representative center channels, but that's a little bit different. That didn't give you the good footnote. Okay, give you the example. But that nada is then tiny, very tiny, the top of the syllable. So then go into that, it's become despair to the space. So then it's called the absolute truth, the nature, dissolve into open space, emptiness. So that time it's without any construct. When you dissolve that after you rest naturally in this nature for as long as you are able. So this is the called completion stage. Now we're going into the completion stage. What means completion stage? So that part all is called generation stage. So we talked like already a couple of weeks, generation stage. It's totally different than shamatha and vipassana. Different than love meditation, compassion meditation, forethought meditations. That has whole different method using different practice. But generation stage, when you practice, you have to use all other ones together, bring into together. So who practice generation stage must have to have forethought meditation, must have to have love, compassion, bodhicitta. Then go into the practice generation stage. When you practice generation stage, so without shamatha, vipassana, you don't really can visualize clearly, stably, and you know, your practice become not really stable and become not successful. So that's the reason we need shamatha meditation. Very important part, shamatha. Without shamatha, then you go to the generation stage. Mostly you understanding, you know what you're doing, but your practice is always like just like in the flying in the space, like kind of not in the ground. Doesn't you really get anything, something, you know, like changing yourself, and the practice is really into your mind, transforming yourself is very hard. The reason is because if you don't have practice, meditate, shamatha, generation stage is just like kind of like beautiful words, very beautiful information. But whatever you do things, practice generation, is always just kind of like, you know, not really stay in your mind, suitfully, just flying, you know, means no ground, stuck with you. So that's the, many people have that difficulty problem. The reason is because the generation stage, we do that practice, but same time you have to use this shamatha meditation practice. Then of course we have to study vipassana, have to understanding this, the whole, you know, like absolute truth, reality. So when you practice, you have to bring all this together. So last time I already taught, when share the teaching, we cannot share all it together one time, because we have to follow by separate sections. And otherwise you can't get anything, you get confused. But when you practice, you have to go all together, you know, bring all together, have to practice. So when you eat, then you don't make separate each, you know, like when you food has so many already in there. So you say, oh, this is a part of vegetable, this is a part of something different. You don't eat separate one by one, but you eat together, you know. So that is when we practice time. Study is like when you're going to cook. So you have to cook with like one by one and put together, you know. When you cut, you have to cut separate. You cannot cut all together, put there, you know. So same like that. When you study and follow the teaching, we have to follow by one. When you practice, you have to bring all together. So otherwise you say, oh, I practice yadam deti, I don't like to practice this, the, you know, shamatha meditation. So some people say, oh, I don't practice like four thoughts, I don't think I need that. Some say, oh, I don't go to love, compassion. So then your food is become only water, nothing, anything there. You take this part, everything, you know. So when you eat food, has so many everything together. When you meditate, like whichever you practice, like all this comes together, have to bring together. Think about, we talk about the 6 parameters, 6 perfections. When we're ready to practice the 6 parameters, 6 perfections, all have to bring together. When we share, then one by one. So when you practice, we all have to bring together. Generation with morality, generation, morality, generosity, morality, generosity, you know, patience, generosity, joyful effort, generosity, the meditation, generosity with wisdom. So all have bring together. that you cannot really make separate when you're ready to practice. Otherwise, your practice is incorrect. Okay, so that's all is part. It's very important section, but the main important how to meditate on the completion stage of wisdom. So that is the highest level when you go into that. But when we practice this completion stage, still you have to bring all this other practice into there together. So skillful, method, wisdom have to go together, no separation. If you create a separate, then that means that you don't know how to practice Dharma. If you practice a separate, you cannot develop your qualities. Whatever you do, like low, like outer level, you are practitioner, but inner level is just, you are always the same, no difference. So that's sometimes happening. Many people, like that focus like only one. Some people say, like only meditate emptiness. Emptiness. So only you go falling to like that way, you cannot get any grow in your qualities, cannot purify karma. So without emptiness meditation, then other hand also it's good practice, but still stuck in samsara. Still stuck in samsara. You can reborn to higher realms. You get something good accumulation merit, but that's all is just in within samsara. You cannot go beyond this samsara without emptiness meditation, without completion meditation. Only completion, only go to emptiness. So you don't use only other skillful method. You cannot beyond. Cannot get nirvana. Stuck in samsara, but in the samsara you don't get any qualities still. So that's the reason you have to come together, bring together. Okay, so now in ejection in the completion stage, when resting the mind and completely relaxing the mind in its natural state, there is this vivid, open, clear awareness. So when you are meditating completion stage, then resting mind. So we resting mind. So in this section, you don't think about anything. I am Buddha or not Buddha. Just resting mind. And completely relaxing the mind. It's relaxing in the natural state. Not just relaxing means like your body is relaxed. We usually say we relaxing, watch TV or watch movie, right? Relaxing, go into the restaurant, eat coffee shops, stay there, kind of like that, relaxing. That's relaxing, it's not like that. This relaxing in the mind in its natural state, mind into the natural state. There is this vivid open. Then your mind is vivid, open, means no boundaries, no any physical forms there. So you feel totally different kind of feeling. Your mind is like, usually our mind always conceptual thoughts. So free from conceptual thoughts, then your mind is open. Conceptual thoughts means like mind is put in the cage. Conceptual thoughts. Stuck, like same is like physically, we are stay at home. So then you have a doors, you have a locks. So like that, you have the wall and no open, right? So open means like we all no more these boundaries. Means like your mind is not need to be with object. Your mind is already free from object, dualistic thought. So that's why it's called vividly open. clear awareness. So that mind is very clear with awareness means like sometimes you lose consciousness. You don't recognize couple like maybe sometimes 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you gone your consciousness, you don't recognize anything, you don't see the object, no like that, you know. So that kind of mind is no clear, no awareness. Sometimes you lose your mind, no awareness, no clear, no open there. So there are no thoughts, but when you lose consciousness, but the mind is no clear, no awareness. So this one, when you into this nature, your mind is open with a clear, with awareness means you recognize everything clearly. Who recognize? Your awareness recognize. So this part is hard to share, but when you meditate, you feel yourself, you get your own experience. Your awareness, mindful awareness, watch yourself, your mind is present, vivid, open, clearly. But awareness, mindful awareness, recognize, be there, peacefully abiding, you know. So then you stay in that natural state. That is meditating. So when you stay in that natural state, then you stay longer, you can feel totally different. The nature is totally different than what usually our mind, you know, doing things. When you into the nature, totally different, it become opposite. So when you into that nature, then your mind is resting, really resting in absolute truth. So when you get into there, then no fears, no emotions, no enemies, no hatred ones there. So that's the reason in the Kendazambo prayer, all this samsara is like become dissolving or it's like samsara is like burning or destroying something. You never fear. Your never fear means like your mind nature is never fear. Whatever going on auto level, that nature never have fears when you get into that nature. So I don't remember exactly how to say that in Tibet English. I mean, in the Kendazambo prayer, Tibet is Siksom Jekyang Danchami means like all this, everything is become dissolving or destroying. You never get feared. Means that nature never get feared. That nature is never die. The nature is never departure from you. That always be with us, that nature. So when you into that nature, then you really feel yourself, you get your own experience. Then that time, you know, you arise compassion for others too. So then that time, you know, you visualize the Yadam deity also really clearly arise and become connection to the Yadam deity too. Because that nature and visualize the Buddha's nature is you see the same nature, inseparable, recognize. So that's time you go back to again, like, you know, go to generation, visualize generation stage, and using these things together also possible, you know. Visualize this, then go back into natural state again. So when you eat the food, you get the taste, right? When you cut the vegetables, cooking, that time you don't get the taste, food taste. So when you share study teaching, when you learn, you don't get experience. So then when you eat the food, you know, you recognize food taste. You get your experience, food taste yourself. Same thing, when you meditate this, you practice that time, then you recognize, you get your own experience. So that nature is not easy, like just what we say when you meditate, because it's so subtle level. And our mind is always conceptual thoughts. So our minds already go that direction, is like eons already conceptual thoughts. So now you give up non-conceptual stay in the nature means very hard, not easy. Sometimes like use these bit instructions, you put effort, you get hit in there. But how long you stay there is dependent, you know, your practice, like how long, like kind of stable, and also due to the accumulation merit. So some people can get a little bit hit to there, but if someone they don't have enough accumulation merit, they say they don't recognize that, but then they don't really can stay into that nature. So who has accumulation merit, then when you into the nature, become more connections, more experience, recognize. So you wanted to go more meditate, your practice into that nature. So that is due to the accumulation merit. Some teachers say this realization is or it's like dependent accumulation merit. So that's the reason we have to create accumulation merit and purify our karma too. So now, see, you know this completion stage practice, what talking about meditation, that is great. Then you go back to use other method. You know, cultivate forethought, cultivate love, compassion, bodhicitta, and use generation stage. Then go into this meditation, like kind of every day, like, you know, one section. We have to do this all together. That's the reason the Jigten Sungho method is called the 5-part Mahamudra. 5-part Mahamudra, in the last one is this one, the completion stage. Not the last one, but fourth one is completion stage, Mahamudra. So before the preparation, you know, we have to meditate like bodhicitta. Then practice Yadam deity, supplication to Ru Guru, and then go into the Mahamudra. Then do the dedication. So that's called the 5-part Mahamudra, means in the one section practice, we have to use this 5 of these together. So that teaching is like very clearly in the essence of Mahayana. So we always, right now we are in the Saturday, Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm sharing that teaching. So that teachings give this information very clearly, this 5-part Mahamudra. So this is a part of Mahamudra completion stage. When we're going to practice this completion practice Mahamudra, so we have to use other branches practice. So without bodhicitta and the Yadam deity, Guru Yoga, practice this completion stage is very hard to complement. So we need to support this other practice together when we practice this completion stage. So now look directly at the essence of the mind. So here is talking about the mind in its natural state. How to recognize that mind natural state. So we have to look directly at the essence of this mind. Who going to look for the mind? Your mind for awareness have to look to your own mind. Yeah. So your awareness, mind for it is your mind, but it's different aspects. So that mind only can look to your mind. Look to your own mind means look your mind, look to your mind. Actually, no subject object, but looking mind, seeing their own mind. Same is the legs. Legs, they clear up their own. You know, when legs, we turn on the light. So this a light bulb, you can see the clearly their own, seeing their own. You know, they're seeing others, but they're seeing their own clearly. So think about the nighttime. If we don't have this light bulbs, electricity, so whole this home is dark. So when you turn on the lights, you can see everything, but you also can see light bulb too. So nighttime actually, if you don't turn on the lights, you cannot see light bulbs too. So when you turn on the electricity, and then you can see the house and also light bulb there, there's two, you know, because the light bulb their own clear up their own. I don't know how to use English correctly, you know, they clear up their own. So like that, mind seeing mind means like that, but there's no really subject object there, but they're seeing, they recognize their own. And that's the reason, so our mind for awareness have to watch our own mind. What is it like? Really look into the nature of your own mind and see for yourself. Then you see yourself. Usually we don't see ourselves. So we see means like you see our people's body. So you look to yourself in the mirror. The mirror, you see yourself. But that is only auto level form body you see. You don't see your nature. So then awareness, mindful awareness, looking into yourself, you see yourself. You see your natural mind. That is the you actually. Not in the mirror, seeing yourself. That is actually this body, physical form. That is actually not you. You know, that is a body, physical form. Then you put the cloth, you see the cloth, actually you don't see yourself. Right? Mirror, you see your cloth. You don't really see yourself. So mindful awareness, watch yourself, you really see yourself. Once you have become conversant in this practice and you have a conviction, there is the sense of mind as being this vivid presence, but without anything to pinpoint or identify. So then when you meditate, you know, practice yourself, you have to put effort actually. If you don't put effort, the mindful awareness, seeing us means like just comes in the really off again. You don't really recognize yourself. Very hard to go in there. I just already shared. So we have to practice again and again. Not only one time you recognize. When you meditate, like example, you meditated today, you feel you see today yourself. But tomorrow you go back to again in the are mundane again. You have delusion again. So you have to meditate again. You have to practice again because we have to habituate that. We have familiarity that. So we have to practice that, what we see. Otherwise, like, you get into that but off again. Then you don't see. So that's the reason become convinced in this practice, and you have a conviction. There is the sense of mind as being this vivid presence. This mind is being always with us. So you know that when you meditate, like we say, be with the present. When you be with the present, you always have a present, right? You don't have a past, you don't have future. We always have a present moment. When you be within the present moment, your mind is always there. Nature is there. That is your nature. But without anything to pinpoint or identify, but you really look to that mind, investigate. Where is that located? You cannot find any place located. That's not located your heart, not located into your crown, not your feet, not your arms. When you research or investigate, you cannot find any place, pinpoint or identify. Why you cannot find? Because your mind is emptiness. Your mind is not permanently, inherently, existently physical form. But no nothingness, it always there presently. But logic, investigation cannot find. So that is no object of the, logic investigation. Mind is no object of the investigation. So you investigate the rainbow. Where is the rainbow? Form body exist or not? You investigate. Just you'll get yourself tired. You say you cannot find the rainbow, but then you say, why is the rainbow is there? Why is it there? It's no exist. Why is it there? So then that's the answer is no exist is there. So that's it. Something no exist, but it's be there. So example, rainbow beautiful comes. You shoot the gun. What is happening? So you cannot shoot the gun. You say, oh, this rainbow is no exist. So that's the same as the scientist does. Scientist does exactly the same thing. Scientist does like this sunlight beams come into your home, right? Sun beams. You shoot the gun in the sun beams. So gun can destroy the sun beams. Can shoot? No, right? But sun beams is there. Your eyes see there clearly, lights come out. But your gun shoot, that is no object of the, that sun beam, clear light. Same as a rainbow, you shoot a gun into the reflection, moon is in the water. So who shoot a gun to the reflection in the moon is in the water, that person is crazy, right? Same thing, who say mind is not exist. They use this, investigating, that person is crazy. So that's why many scientists become crazy too. And also the people who don't have enough accumulation merit, and they go into the emptiness, they become crazy too. So they're lost their way because they always think they have to find. They always think I have to get something. Some people like practice Dharma or doing things, they always think I have to get something, finding something. So then they cannot find anything after they're lost. So that means like mind is no physical object form. It's no exist there. So you recognize that no exist, that's enough already, physically. But then what you have to know, always there, present. No one can destroy that. No one can, devoid that. That is always there. So that's the reason here says, being this vivid presence, but without anything to pinpoint or identify. There is just this clear. There is a very clear there. Vivid, open, awareness that is present and aware, that yet there is no possible way to articulate, right? Articulate, conceptualize, or define it as being like this or like that. So that's actually give you really good information to this mind nature. So many different, ways explain, described. So usually we think, we thought it's totally beyond in that, what do we try to, you get something or fix, your mind nature is like try to, okay, I wanted to get like this way, finding something, using something. So that is like always not really perfectly looking way to natural mind. So that's the reason here, just mind, you have to look, mind means like awareness, watching your mind. When your mind is become relaxed, not follow the thought, then be present first. When mind is, your awareness, mindful, recognize mind is present, then that mind is clear, vivid, open, awareness. That is present, always there, and aware. Yet there is no possible way to articulate, conceptualize. So then you cannot use, like when you find that, but then after you cannot use this investigating. Then, it is just knowing, means we have to recognize that knowing, clear and unceasing, means always there, never lost, unceasing, always there. So that's the reason sometimes they say mind is permanent. Buddha nature is permanent, means this is clear and unceasing. That's what they call permanent, but not really talking about a permanent means like something like exists permanently. Why we call the mind is permanent, Buddha nature is permanent, means it is just knowing clear and unceasing vivid. Unceasing means there, always there. Present, nakedly aware. It is like you are seeing something you never saw before. So when you meditate, then you really feel that, get experience. So you never see something before, you really see something never saw before, usually our minds always follow the conceptual thought. So whatever we do, it's easy to follow, and always that is follow the conceptual thought is easy. But then when you meditate, so sometimes like you get right teaching and your practices go correct right direction. So you're seeing something you never saw before. You can share that. So when you feel that, you be in that nature, meditate. If you can stay like one day, example, like 15 minutes, it's really powerful. But when we meditate, like usually not easy to get into this level. This is so subtle level, not just gross level meditation. So more deeper than shamatha. When you practice shamatha meditation, your mind is resting, but you're not really looking into the suchness nature. Your mind is not into the suchness nature. So your just mind is resting because not follow the thoughts. Same as like your body is not doing something, just sit down, right? Like that. And here is so looking into the suchness nature means like you really into the subtle level, your nature mind. So that time, then you see your nature, you'll be in this nature state like one day, example, 5-10 minutes. Your feeling is different. If you can stay like 15 minutes one day, that is a very powerful in the nature. If you can stay 15 minutes one day. So if you practice, example, 2 hours one day, 1 hour, 45 minutes, doing some other ways, practice, like then into this nature, like 15 minutes. Your fear is totally different. Free from all the fears. So then you recognize also, usually what teaching talk about, emptiness, no exist, no permanent. So then also you recognize Buddha nature, awareness, mind nature, or whatever says, like so many things, that you get answer there. You are experiencing something you never experienced before. So you get experience, you never get experience before when you're into this nature. You know it, you believe it, you are sure, but you cannot put it into words. So you cannot put the words because this is beyond the words, beyond the thoughts, beyond the perceptions, So beyond our capacity to put in the words. This is what is known as completion stage. So that is called the completion stage. This awareness, this present knowing, this clear, open, unbound, unstatic, unceasing, vivid presence is also what is known as Mahamudra or Dharmakaya. So that is the Mahamudra, that practice is called Mahamudra. Sometimes we call Dzogchen, the Mayamika, like absolute truth. It's the same, but different names. So then when we talk about the three kayas, so this is called Dharma kaya. The nature is called Dharma kaya. That's the reason Dharma kaya provide all sentient beings. That means this nature provides every sentient being has. This nature is not different than all the sentient beings. All beings have the same nature. So that means like all beings the same equal rights, no difference. Reality, absolutely. This is also the ultimate true three givers as refuge. So then when you realize this nature, then that is the absolute truth Buddha Dharma Sangha. Ultimate true three givers of refuge. Then absolute truth refuge. That is absolute truth refuge. When you recognize this nature, then you get into absolute truth refuge. Means you are Buddha, then you don't have to look to someone, it's protection. Sometimes we say like we are our own protection. So that means like we're not talking about the relative truth. In the relative truth, we have a Buddha Dharma Sangha, refuge to Buddha Dharma Sangha. Buddha Dharma Sangha is our protection. But absolutely, actually, Buddha Dharma Sangha is within our own natural mind, not separate from our mind, Buddha Dharma Sangha. So if you realize your natural mind, then you have absolute truth protection. So when you into that nature, then no fears, free from fears, free from death, free from birth, free from old age, sickness, or the free from this suffering. The true meaning of essence of the mantra, mandala, and so forth. So then we talk about so many different kind of mantra, mandala, different universal visualize. So actually you realize your natural mind. So that is the absolute truth mandala. When you realize that nature, then everything becomes absolute truth mandala. Everything is a rising mandala. If we don't realize this absolute truth, natural mind, then whatever we do auto level, just inner nature. If you don't realize Buddha, but the auto level, whatever we do is just follow the auto level, not really reality, absolute truth. But sometimes you create that is get good, kind of like coming imprint, but really cannot reach into the Buddhahood. So I mean, like example, here right now we have people show the mandalas. Some people have like background mandalas here. So that is a symbolize the mandala is relative to the symbolize the mandala. Sometimes like people build the house like this. So many dollars cost to build this kind of palace, mandala. So then you have to create many Buddhas in there. Then you have to create like different direction, has a different Buddhas, 5 Buddhas, and see this followed by different directions, elements, and all the symbolize the different kind of laws elaborated. So this all is called relative truth mandala. And if someone don't know your nature is Buddha, someone don't know your mind is mandala, whatever created these things, still in the stuck samsara, not possible to reach Buddhahood. So that's kind of like, it's good for the who create accumulation merit. You can help many other people who don't have a connect with the Dharma. You know, this give you you can give them to like positive karmic imprints to them. But you create millions like that, but still you are in samsara. So the main important, we have to recognize our natural mind is mandala. So then everything is arise mandala. So then you think why we do this, create so many things like this, just low into my nature. But everyone is not yet the level. Every being don't have a capacity to look ready into the mind nature to recognize Dharmakaya. So that's the reason we create these things. We don't have to against, you know, some people really need this, benefit many other beings. But really Dharma practitioners focus for that only, then it's not great too. So really you know the Dharma and you practice the Dharma means like you have to look onto your mind. You know what you recognize, that is become, have to arise to the mandala. Your mind have to arise to the mandala. Then everything become mandala. So whole universe has become mandala already. Right there in that moment of knowing, the three kayas are encompassed. The basic nature that cannot be pinpointed or fixed anywhere at all in Dharmakaya. The natural radiance that is never ceasing is Sambhonakaya. These two kaya known fixed are Namanakaya. So no sharing these three kayas. So my nature is to see moment of knowing. Here is the just three kayas right there in that moment of knowing. The three kayas are encompassed means like three kayas within our mind. Absolute truth, the three kayas. The basic nature that cannot be pinpointed or fixed anywhere at all is Dharmakaya. So you cannot really pinpoint your natural mind. It's emptiness. So that is the Dharmakaya. But this nature you cannot pinpoint, you cannot find, use logic, investigate. The natural radiance that is never ceasing is Sambhonakaya. The natural radiance that is never ceasing means always there. That's the reason it's called Dharmakaya. Your mind is Dharmakaya. So these two kayas, no door means like your mind nature cannot be pinpointed or fixed anywhere at all. It's empty, but the empty is always there unceasingly. That two is called Namanakaya. That two inseparable. That two is inseparable. So that's why it's called Dharmakaya, Namanakaya. These two kayas, no door, no fixed, are Namanakaya. So our mind nature empty aspect is called Dharmakaya. Clarity aspect, unceasing, is called Sambhonakaya. Empty clarity, unceasing is inseparable. So that means Namanakaya form. Tirikaya is inseparable. Within all these Tirikaya is our mind nature, mind. Okay, so we finish that today. So today we don't have an evening class. So now you have any questions like before we leave, you can ask some questions. Short answers I can give. You can also give me short questions. Anyone has any questions?
Yeah, what is the short mantra for the Bumchok?
Bumto, it's I think we send the email that you get, I think the short prayers we have.
There's so many mantras in the practice.
On our home, Benzan Guru Pema Sede home is a mantra.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm. It's beautiful. Thank you.
So when we do today, Bumto, you all use the bears and damaras, drums, whatever you have. When we ready to use, they are mute, okay? So Vajra family, you can use conch shells, whatever you have.
Will do.
Then anyone has questions?
Yes. Do we meet back on Zoom at 6:30 for the soak?
Yes. Zoom link is different. You have to know that, not this one.
Yes, I got the email.
Yeah. So then you have sadhanas.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a question, Campbell. When you said that we have to have everything before we practice the final thing, and then we have to have the samatha, we have the vipassana, we have the accumulated merit and everything, then we will never practice that because we'll never know whether it's good enough, whether I already have enough merit, whether my samatha is perfect, whether my vipassana is perfect. If I don't have everything, then I cannot practice that. That means I will never be able to practice that, isn't it?
When you have become perfect, then you don't have to practice.
But you say you have to have everything before you practice that. You have to have
we have to put together everything together.
So how do I know that I have enough? Like if I go to New York City, I have to prepare the air ticket. That's like $300 to $400. So how do I know how much merit I have to accumulate? How much samatha I have to do, and what kind of level of samatha and what kind of level of vipassana? Then I can do that. I don't know.
So generally, we doing is like you don't have to count, you don't have to think that. Much ever you can, much ever, unlimited.
So,
they don't have a cost. The priceless, priceless. That's why no cost. And unlimited. But then some practice you can count. Sometimes like some practice you can count mantra. Say, oh, I'm going to do 100,000 come on Monday pay me home. So you can do that.
But like when you accumulate merit, how do you know I have enough merit to practice it? Like accumulate merit is like almost the 6 parameter. You have generosity, you have patience, you have the precept, you have all these kind of meditation. So how much merit I have to accumulate to get to the stage to practice that?
Until Buddhahood. Yes.
Because actually, at one point of my life, I really felt that my preparation was not enough, and so I get back from the beginning and do the metta practice, do a lot of metta practice, and trying to, and it helped me really. That really helped me. Then I start to do the repentance, and it also helped me. But I never know how much I have to finish before I do the deeper one.
You don't have to know, just whichever you know can practice, whatever you know the Dharma, just practice that. Then that bring you into the realization, okay?
But you said that if you are not enough, then you get crazy. That's what you told us, isn't it?
That I mean, the too much knows, then are crazy. Too much thought, then crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. So the let go thoughts, just put into the effort to practice. Then they keep you in the right path, right direction.
Okay.
If you lose the right direction, then you're crazy, right? It's like you lose the path.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hello,
Okay,
Kempo.
so now, yes.
Just a quick question. I don't know how to do it correctly, but you mentioned in this meditation, it's very important to practice. And at least if I practice 10 or 15 minutes, that stage, that you have that you can see your own mind, it's going to help you to see your real nature. I mean that anything that can be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but you be there and continue practicing, because you're going to be back to samsara, to your habits and your karma imprints. But what I understand that anything that I can do just to practice and practice, I'm going to have more awareness of this nature that I have. That is me, but I don't recognize it. It's just practice daily, and the more you can, the better. At least 10 or 15 minutes to be aware with this meditation, to have this knowledge. Or not knowledge, recognize your nature. That's my understanding.
I didn't get exactly what your question is.
Yeah, what I mentioned is that you mentioned just to practice at least have 15 minutes.
I mean, when we practice, get into the nature, like at least 15 minutes, then you can feel, you can recognize what the power is of this meditation.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, start to recognize your own nature.
Yes.
Meditation.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're going to see your real nature, and then
sometimes you can like you think recognize, but still subtle emotions, subtle thoughts there. That means like you're not really into nature. Very hard into the nature state.
Okay.
So if you're really into that, then you, even if you can stay like 15 minutes, I mean, you have really great experience.
Okay. Okay.
Then if you get that every day, like 15 minutes, then you have become practitioner.
And like you said, you had that subtle nature, that small occupation, but you are purifying that little by little to be more aware.
Yes.
Not easy to get there because that's subtle situation that you have.
Yes.
Like purify and be more aware. Okay, thank you, Kempo. I
Okay.
hope I continue
You're
doing
welcome. So now I'm going to do the prayer. The prayer is a dedication. Marilyn, please, can you put in the screen? Emma ong sara sanje nawan da ye da yesu jo du je je mo dan yon de se ban tu jin do na mai sanje san sen ban min kor ji kor De chen om zara ba de me ba ye de wa jin ye sa ve yen gam de da yin de ne sen bi ju ma da je wa yin je ba ma ju ba de re jin ne nan de yan dong yo de ge da ge mo la da ba ne so je san sen dan je 跟面着把那圣洁老的走，地呀的本站着呀，阿波的那耶稣啊，上就真就人不接马就把那就了这，就把娘把没把样，公你公的不瓦的就。 Jambara sunam deye damje zibanye donanye be jana banze de Jiga nanje balon jubaye ziben zolen jowa jowa reju Jambara bave jataran jemba dan gende zambo de yande yende Dedai genje jize dalo jen Gewain de da dam je ra de ngo. Chi zai gen zai gen jin chi je je dem de ne la wan de ji gong ba. Ren jen bar je dem ba sin de bar. Che do de zang gong ben zin jo je. Okay, everyone. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Kempo.
See you 6:30.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Kempo.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.